I was born in Cape Cod area, Massachusetts. Moved to Hampton, Virginia. My dad retired from the Air Force. He's from this area, and his parents from this area. That's what got us here. He had a piece of property, he had the house built. After a year and a half, we lived in our grandparents' house. And that's when I got introduced to this cemetery, was back in the 70s. And then we used to come up here with the mowers and weed eaters and, take care of it. And even back in the 70s, there was plates and placards up here that we couldn't even make out names, couldn't make out dates or nothing on them, but we knew that they was graves, so we would stand them up. Some of them, the letters had fell off, numbers had fell off, but we would still, do the best we could as far as keeping it up. And then, of course, there's a couple back here that's couple buried back here since I've been living here in this area. Of course, my grandfather.
Right.
My uncle Herbie, I never knew.
It's a very tricky area.
I never knew him because the dates was before my times. Some of the Winstons, some of these people is way before my time.
Somebody's name is written.
Somebody's name, if you can see it. You have to come around here because you can see the writing better this way.
What are your feelings about coming to this site and seeing these graves and the lineage here, and knowing what you know about the lineage of this county and the fact that they're trying to build a pipeline right through it? What is your feeling?
It really upsets me because there ought to be a law against being able to disrupt or interrupt, grave sites. So this cemeteries, regardless of who's buried there, should not be disturbed.
Yeah,
really.
if they were enslaved while they were living and they had a hard time and their life was a struggle, they should be able to at least rest in peace.
Absolutely.
There are names in this cemetery of folks like the Goins family, the Thompsons, that are definitely linked to
slavery.
Descendants of slavery.
That's right. And then you have soldiers that are in here. So, how can you disrespect them? This is just unconscionable. That's the best thing I can call it. So we need to do something about this. We really do. That's why we're here today, to record and make our voices heard.
There are World War I and World War II veterans buried here, and some of them fought in World War II. What are your feelings about that?
Well, my grandfather fought in World War II, and because of that, he was in World War I. My father was in World War II. I'm not happy about that at all. Because my grandfather lost his life because of his time in service. So, it's just not a. Oh, she found something over here, World War I. Let's see about this. It just, for lack of a better expression, very uncool. This is.
We should take a picture.
Carrie is somebody in my
We should
family.
take a
That's
picture.
my
It's
family's
also
last
veterans.
name is
It's not
Carrie.
just,
Okay.
it's a veteran issue as well as
Yep.
they served their time and they didn't even make it
That's
into
what I'm
like
doing.
a national cemetery.
John Ferguson, 1895 to 1994. Wow.
Served in World War
And
I.
here's Edward Ferguson. He fought in Korean War.
Now that headstone looks real old back there.
Oh yeah. And this one is Kenneth Carey.
Yes, has some Carries in my family.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look up some of these names because while we were sitting there today, Waters. Look at Helen Waters is over there.
Wow.
Some of you all may be related to some of these folks.
Absolutely.
Well, I know for sure the Goins.
This is
Yeah.
Heartbreaking. Robert Lee Carey.
pulls on your emotions.
Just another Carey. That's what I was saying. My family's last name is Carey. I can't even tell you. It's all over the place. There's, I'm sad. I'm angry. I got a whole bunch of emotions going on right now. I can't even explain how I feel. Because I felt like they already struggled so much in life. Just let them rest. Just let them rest. Wow. Yeah.
I'm just absolutely dismayed. I really am. That people inside of a company would be so irresponsible and, disloyal.
This is, now you know I gotta put this on my head. First cousin, 3 times removed.
Yeah.
My second great grandmother is a Goins, Mary Goins, born here in 1840.
Willis is back here.
Oh, I'm not familiar with Willis.
No, I'm not either.
Take a picture of that for me.
What are your feelings about coming to this cemetery?
I'm gonna start crying in a little bit because number one, it's neglected. You can't count on just one person to maintain it. But a lot of folks, just like, they didn't know about the cemetery. I was telling them about the cemetery, and I saw in 1998. You're walking right on a grave, right? To who's that?
I'm trying not to walk on it.
Because there's one, look, right there, too.
Could be graves anywhere here. They're not being picked up by the GPR.
But that one there definitely must be a grave site.
And that's disturbing. Well, look at that. Look at that. Do you think that's a stone knocked over there? That's
Probably.
Oh, look, this is work. This is work by hand. This is man-made. And I can dig around in there, but I probably shouldn't. But
I wish I'd known. I brought my gloves. I got those gloves with the claws.
The ground penetrating radar researchers came out a few weeks ago, and they detected these unmarked graves here and several along the line here. And so the ones that are, larger, spray painted out, those are unmarked graves. There's a couple smaller things that they detected that they're not quite sure about. But these are definitely unmarked graves. And you see how close they are to the road. And then, of course, when the gas company trespassed onto the property because they did not ask permission from the lawyers to come onto the property to install this fence.
And that is the gas company fence?
Yes.